Hello, mic check, audio check. Hi, everybody. Are you able to hear me and see me clearly? Please give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Thanks, Shruti. Thanks, Neeraj. Thanks, Shlok. All right. So, I welcome everybody to yet another exciting session of the Young Environmentalist today. My name is Anubhuti, and today, on the eve of the Earth Day, we are going to host a very important session with us. Do you guys have any idea what is Earth Day and why is it celebrated? Let me begin by asking you this very important question before we begin our session. Any idea what the Earth Day is about? All right. So let me tell you that the Earth Day is a day which is hosted uh, keeping in mind the conservation of the Earth, considering how much damage humans have caused to the environment over the years. We have now felt the need to finally come to the realization that the Earth needs to be protected. And 22nd of April is observed every year as the Earth Day. For about last 50 years, it has been celebrated, and over a billion years worldwide take participation in this event. So let us assemble today and learn some very important facts about the Earth. Let us become conscious towards our duty towards the environment. And to help us learn all about this, we have a very special guest with us. Richard Mahapatra is the managing editor of the Down to Earth, and he will be telling us the story of the Earth and the Earthlings. There are some very important, glaring facts that we'll be coming up with. So be all ears, and I hope that this event excites you. I'll now request Richard to take on the session and start presenting the slide.
Greetings for the World Earth Day. As Anubhuti said, we have been observing this. Started long back with one environmentalist and a senator of US Congress who suggested this Earth Conservation Day. And to begin with, his idea was to generate awareness about various threats to our planet and how to conserve our resources, the natural resources, and also, to the bad impacts of human existence on the planet. It means that long back, we all knew about the impact of humans on the planets. So, in this more than 44 years of observing the Earth Day, starting from one senator's or an environmentalist call for this day, now more than 1 billion people observe today. And in various ways, like you all have joined, we have joined for this conversations. 1 billion people actually worldwide will be observing the Earth Day. Do they celebrate not precisely, but rather of late it has become a reminder of what we have done, what sins we have committed, and whether we can do something at least to wipe out our sins. And more than that, we can make our only home, that's the planet Earth, again suitable for living. Remember, we now talk in terms of whether the planet has been left suitable or not for living, particularly for humans and others. And with that, I start. I'll just take you through. This is not, we'll talk about actually more than, as I said, you will reminding ourselves what we have done to the planet. Sometimes it's better to bring out a Hisab Kitab, as you must have studied, a balance sheet. What have we done to the planet? By far, the only planet we know, which is living organisms, is thriving with life, and has also species like us, that's the Homo sapiens, very devastating one. So here it, I am Richard Mahapatra. I work with this magazine called Down to Earth, and you must have read, must have heard about it. And here I will present a state of affairs on this Earth Day. But before that, let me just take you through a small exercise. Listen to this carefully. Can you blink 9 times? Just blink. That's over. Did you all complete 9 times blinking? Yes. This is precisely for how much time you have existed on this planet. It means the humans. Just a reminder to our own species, that is humans, we have spent the least amount of time on this planet. If you go by the age of the planet and the universe, or at least our star, the life of our star, that's the sun, our existence compares to just 9 seconds. It means the 9 blinks that you had. And I request you to do another exercise tonight. You look at the sky. You must have, I think, must have done it many times in awe and inspiration, looking at the sky, looking at the stars, appreciating and, dreaming about many things, and becoming sometimes going there also. But when you go back today and tonight, you have a look at the sky, repeat watching the sky after 10 minutes from the same positions. You might not find what you saw there, the stars, the lights. Why is that? It's because what you saw basically might not be existing in the next moment. You just saw what you call I saw a star, the light actually arrived, traveling for billions of years and just hitting you. That's why giving you an illusion of seeing a star. Next moment, you might not see it because that star might have died by this time in billion of years. That precisely is going to happen to our energy giver, the sun. Somebody somewhere might have seen our sun also, and in the next moment will not see us billions of years. So the point is that we are a part of this universe where every moment, every second, millions of stars, millions of planets, everybody is born and die, leaving nowhere in doubt that we are a non-ending source of life here. So this is basically what all about our system. Just to give you a sense who we are exactly in this planet, where exactly we are in this planet. I'll just take you to, universe sometimes very difficult, isn't it? To imagine how big it is. It's really unimaginable. Somebody who is in Delhi cannot imagine from, say, for example, staying from this end of the city to the other end. In our lifetime, might be after 10 or 20 years staying in Delhi, we might not have seen any area, all the areas of Delhi or of a state or of India. Now just imagine the universe. Just to give you an example, if you go for a ride in your car at the speed of 130 kilometers per hour, that's not a good speed to drive. Just imagine, just assume that you are riding that car at that speed, 130 kilometers per hour, just to reach the nearly the end of our universe. It will take 35 million times the age of the universe. And our universe might be 10 billion years old. So just don't stretch your imagination. Come back to life. Here I will start with I'll show you something interesting just to give you a sense of who we are. Oh, just a minute, give us this one. Yeah, it's showing up. So look at that. Can you spot there is somewhere there is some bright spot, a dot. So this is the one that this is our planet Earth. This is basically a picture which was taken in 1990 from a distance of 6 billion kilometers from Earth. And who took this photograph? This photograph, as I told you, it's popularly known as the pale blue dot. You can see our insignificant existence in this universe. If you go or move around, say, another 1 billion kilometers away, or say 7 billion kilometers away, you will not be able to actually click the photograph of Earth. And this was taken for your informations. It's Voyager 1. It's an artificial satellite and the farthest human-made machine has ever traveled. So we are this pale blue dot. And just I'll show you it again, just to remind you the insignificant situations we are. Remember this great photo. Now come to it. I'll quickly introduce you. What is this universe? So we are a country, there are many countries, then we are a planet, and after the planet we have a star. There are many stars, and many stars have this Milky Way kind of galaxy. Then many galaxies make actually the universe. It's huge. So what is this universe? Don't stretch your imagination. Don't get threatened by these numbers. You might not be not be able to actually put in figures. But it's 93 billion light years in diameter. And if you look at it, look at the number of galaxies. It's more than trillion. And every galaxy has 100 billion stars. So our own Milky Way, or the Akash Ganga that you love to watch in the sky, that has actually 100 billion stars like sun. And every star will have millions of planets like Earth. So I'm not giving you the number, but look at it. 1 followed by 23 zeros. That's the total planets we have in the universe. And what are you in this? Have you heard about the pollutant. Many of you who are from Delhi must have by this time heard about, PM 2.5, PM 10. If you want to visualize yourself as an individual in this universe, you could be hardly barely visible dust particle in your Olympic sized football field in your school. In fact, this size will be, I'm giving you a much bigger size by imagination. But technically, if you put it, you are not visible actually as an individual. We are that small. Now, what do we now come back to the earth, down to earth, what we have? There are 87 lakh species of plants and animals in this planet. In this pale blue dot, you have 87 lakhs or 8.7 million species, plants and animals. That includes us, the Homo sapiens or the humans. But most of them we have not identified till now or described. Look at this. 86% of the species on the land and 91% of those in the seas have yet to be discovered. Then has to be described so that in your textbook you will read what a wolf is, what a dog is, and what a zebra is, and has to be catalogued in your somewhere. Then it can come to. So you don't know what your textbook actually gives you is barely anything. It is popularly said that we might be knowing much more about the surface of Moon and now Mars than the surface of Earth or the sea floor. We don't know precisely. We are yet to discover our planets. So, based on various estimates, we might have 1 trillion species. Do this math. How many zeros followed by one? Milky Way might have. So, actually, the species on the planet might be more than stars in our Milky Way. That's the kind of estimate scientists are now putting together. So, in this context, in this big universe, in this big planet like Earth, who are we, the humans? What we are actually? From where did we come from? Don't ask the questions about from where did tigers come from, where the ants, the insects. Ask these questions from where did we come from, the humans. Who are we precisely? Let me give you this. On your screen, you will find on your right side, you can see myself, who is a human or the Homo sapiens. On your left is my living distant relative or ancestors, a chimpanzee. And I'll tell you, scientific data shows that me, the human, and the chimpanzee share 98.8% of DNA. Black, white, eyes, how I behave, what I am, we have the same DNA, 98.8. That is the kind of score takes you to become the biggest scorer in your class. But remember, this is our ancestors with whom till now, even now also we share 98.8% of our DNA with the chimpanzee. You can place your own photograph here and can celebrate. You have your distant relative living around. I'm not coming to this, I'll come to this one, but let me introduce. What are these humans? I already told you, we are that 9-second species on the planet. Humans belong to a group called hominids. And as I showed you the photograph, our distant relatives actually evolved out of chimpanzee. We all are chimpanzees by ancestral descriptions. You, me, everybody, all the nearly 8 billion humans. And our species, what do you call ourselves, like you and me, the humans, our species is called the Homo sapiens. Latin for wise man. What a disaster and irony. Just look at it. Homo sapiens in Latin means wise man, and we have named our species as Homo sapiens. We are the ninth human species on this planet to exist. We had actually other human species on the planet, including us, total nine species. And some 40,000 years ago, actually, we lived with another human species, Neanderthal. And you must have read it. Recently, we found that Indians have the highest genes or DNA from the Neanderthal. We all have Neanderthal. So actually, we lived with this other human species. We actually created family with them. And that was just 40,000 years ago. 40,000 years doesn't mean even a blink in evolution. And how old are we? The human age, we all. That's hardly 3 lakh years old on this planet. And as I told you, going by the planet age, this is just 9 seconds. You had your 9 blinks in the beginning, and that's precisely what you are. Keep on blinking whenever you have any doubt about your species, or when you feel great about the species. That 9 blinks will remind you that you are just one of the 80 lakhs plus species on this who are also spent the least amount of time on this planet of all the current species. But we have some difference. Our other living relatives, including chimpanzee and others, they do many things like us. They do think, they do create society, they think, they communicate, they have languages, yes. But something they don't do like the humans. What are they? I'll just tell you another story very quickly about our species, the humans. Some 70,000 years ago, there was the biggest volcanic eruptions on the planet. By far the biggest. It was a climatic event, Toba supervolcanic eruptions. It still remains the most disruptive, biggest volcanic eruptions on this planet. And it was so big. It created a means, complete what you can say blanket of ash around the planet. It blocked the sun rays. A 6 year extreme winter happened in the planet. Ice age descended. जो बोलते हैं ना एक completely इसी टाइम एक हुआ था कि 6 साल तक for 6 years there was extreme winter, but maybe the kind of winter that you get in the poles now, Antarctica or Arctic. And our species, the humans, were just evolved. We're just walking in a corner of Africa, East Africa. We're just evolving, limited to a corner of Africa. That was the point of time. There was nothing called Africa, India, or the continents or this country's boundary. It was just a planet. The political humans, we are not political till that point of time. No boundary. But we are just limited to one small part of Africa. We were starved. We died by the thousands. And 70,000 years ago, scientists estimated that only a few thousand breeding pairs, like our parents, were left. Few thousands. Breeding pair means just like our couple, our parents who gave birth to us. So there were very few parents actually existing there to create a family. It means we were on the verge of extinction. We were not supposed to survive that. What we did, there was a huge climate change at that point of time in the planet. And like any other species, we also started migrating out. And 50,000 years, these migrations, the human, we all humans actually started going across the planet. Some of them landed up in India also. Some of them from India went to Australia. Some of them from here went to other Asian countries. Some went to Europe. Some went to America. So we are the first climate migrants who escaped out of a climate climate change, extreme climate change, and that's how we colonized. So one species we are just on the brink of extinctions, supposed to extinct, started migrating out and colonized the planet. Now look at it. What these first climate migrants did. After 70,000 years, we colonized the planet. You know, humans are the only species that's available in all continents, in all countries. You won't find a tiger everywhere. You won't find a pigeon or a myna everywhere. You won't find a giraffe everywhere. But you will find a human everywhere. And the king in charge of everything, dictating everything. So humans basically changed everything, altered the planet as we knew, in just 123 years. And that's the reference period for the industrial revolution. You will study very soon in your textbooks. Many of you must have studied it by this time. So that's just in 123 years we changed it. What we did call is the climate change now. All of you now know about climate change. No need to ask about it, but just see the irony. A species which escaped a climate change not caused by another species. It was a natural climatic event done by volcanic eruptions. We became a victim of climate change. We escaped it, we survived, and now we come and change the climate. And it took just 123 years. Many of you seem to be hardly 15 years old. Might be few of you have 20 years, 25 years. Many, I think I can count. Few of you might be above 40 years. What it means to your life when you say climate change and global warming, what we did in the 123 years. Just cut to the read the second line in the slide. This is consecutive 540th month. The planet temperature is above the normal. It means it's a hotter month. 540 months means around 45 years. So those who are below the age of 45 years have not experienced what is a normal month or a climate. So you don't know what is a normal climate in your life till now. Forget about the 9 seconds. You have not spent even fraction of a second also, but you have not experienced what is a normal climate. What you study in your textbook, precisely you have not experienced that study that your textbook is about history now of the planet. That doesn't give you the climate of the planet as it is. Means what the normal, what you experience and what you study in your textbook. You all are a citizens of a malign climate. You don't know what a normal climate feels like. And how else do you actually experience the climate change? All these figures are there, but I can just tell you whether you are A or B, whether you are in a place X or Y or anywhere in the country or in the planet. Every second citizens of India has experienced a abnormal weather situation. last year. So that's all about what we have done, the climate change and the global warming. Now come to the next point. Why we should be worried about this human species coming, colonizing the planet, pale blue dot, our own planet that we celebrate. What have we done? Currently, the planet is going through what you call a mass extinction. What is mass extinction? Mass extinction, you can say, just imagine a place where almost everybody who is in existence are dying. That is mass extinction. And dying means you can again come back to life. But when you're saying dying, it's by the thousands. You don't have actually, you are not able to generate the family back. You must have heard about sometimes news come during the COVID or during the Sankey, whole family was wiped out. Just imagine a family, one family just wiped out. Just broaden that things, enlarge that things, and say that the species, the families in the planet Earth, the ants, insects, humans, tigers, everything, they are dying by millions and not coming back. That is called mass extinctions. It means you are extinct. So there is a definition to it. You will study definitely in your science book sometimes. But it's when 75% species collapse in the less than 28 lakh years. It means collapse. You will not find another species like that. Dodo. There are many butterflies, many things I think that you will never be able to get to see them again. But in this planet, species do come. They die, they extinct, but new species also evolve. Just the same way humans somewhere, I think, evolved. And we are now colonizing the world. We are not there. 9 seconds, a reminder. We have been there. Before that, we were not there. But if you look at it, till now, since the Earth was formed, 99% of the species that ever existed on this planet have gone into extinctions. 99%. You don't know. All have gone. And currently what we are seeing is unprecedented. जो अभी तक नहीं हुआ था, जिसको 15,000 साल में हमने नहीं देखा था, वो अभी 123 साल में होगा. That's the kind of species loss we are actually facing. That's why it's called the mass extinction. In the future, what would happen? 10 lakh species would just go extinct in the next decade. It means 2030 to 2034. 10 lakh species or 1 million species will just extinct. And this is the largest mass extinctions ever. After your dinosaurs age, we all know that movie. That was the last extinction phase happened 64 million years ago. But that was not caused by a species. Human was not there. It was by meteorite hitting us and the extinction happening, and dinosaurs being wiped out along with millions of other species. What we are looking at now is currently will be a much bigger than that extinctions. And you can have all these things. Now, what is that? We are looking at it. Look at it. This climate change, what it is doing, the global warming, you know it is. We are inside a pressure cooker now. We are warming up. This extinction is happening when we don't know our species. In the beginning, I told you we have not even identified all the species. Look at it, few things that's happening due to global warming. The oceans, samandars, are planet's largest ecosystems. And it has 90%, 95% of all our species are there. But we don't know. But if the global warming happens at the rate that it's happening now, then You will lose all these lives even before knowing them. And not in very distant future, it's hardly, say 70 to 80 years. And there is already a big migration. As I told you, human also migrated due to a climatic event 70,000 years ago. The same events you are also looking at because it's warming. So many species are actually now moving towards the colder regions when the heat will be unbearable. You must have seen you go to holiday during the summer seasons to the hills. Further, its temperature is less, cooler area. The same thing is happening among species. Tigers are migrating, marine lives are migrating, and everybody has is precisely migrating. And if you come to India, our species extinction is much faster than the global average. Many species that you read in your textbook, and by the time you come out and cross checks, they might have gone extinct by this time. And all these numbers are there, but India is a biodiverse rich area. Its biodiversity is really very rich. If you go to the northeast, one of the mega biodiverse area of the world, that's also the extinction rate is much higher than the global level. And come to the point before we end it, the current extinction is different. It was not caused by a volcanic eruption. It's not caused by earlier five extinction phases. Those were all naturals. Like the last one, as I told you, the 65 million years ago, where the dinosaurs were wiped out, including many others, species, that was caused by meteorite hitting you. The Earth, that was natural. This extinction is different. It's actually caused by the Homo sapiens. That's the humans. And we are responsible for 83% of all wild mammals and 50% of all plants decline. Remember, mammals also including humans. Might be the humans or the Homo sapiens actually led caused the extinctions of eight other humans who ever walked on this planet. But humans are actually responsible for this phase of extinction. That's why it's not a natural extinction. It's caused by humans who are also celebrating the Earth Day. Humans actually have altered 75% of the land-based environment. The agriculture, the forest, everything that's on the land has been altered by us. Ask anybody what is the natural land looks like. You will actually find it difficult a natural piece of land not touched by human interventions. Go inside a deep forest, you'll find plastic. Within our own body itself, we have violated. The milk, mother milk that you take is also contaminated. There are chemicals, there are microplastics. Everywhere the human has altered things. There is nothing called a natural planet anymore. And we are not just the cause of the extinctions. We are actually deciding how this planet will look like and who will survive and who will thrive. We have decided that the humans will thrive. That's why we are thriving. We have decided that the many other species will not thrive, will go for extinction, and we have caused it. And look at this data you have. How the mammals family has changed. Currently, 60% of mammals are livestock. As a scientist told me sometimes, our grandchildren, our grandfather teaching their grandchildren about the say beautiful animals of the world. They might say, tiger, giraffe, and all those kind of things, given. But if you just imagine a current world, planet, I will tend to tell my daughter that, it's a cow, it's a buffalo, that kind of things. or a pig. So we have decided what species will actually thrive because we eat them, because we use them, we get resources, our food from them. Of the total birds, 70% are poultry chickens. Just imagine, of all the birds in this planet, 70% are broiler chickens, poultry birds, or anything that's actually you farm. So why do you go out for bird watchings when it comes to your plate? This is the kind of this species called Homo sapiens, or we the humans have actually changed the planet. It's not a happy Earth Day. Rather, we are celebrating or observing what sins we have committed. It's a reminder. That's why. And what we are getting in terms of it, remember, nature has a way of taking revenge. Nature had 18 identified contribution to every existence, particularly to the human existence. The air, the water, the forest, and the soil and everything. Now, the nature is not able to give you perform its 80% of its jobs. It means our fundamental services that we take from the nature are at threat. That actually a great threat to our own existence. And just to wrap it up, are we threatened actually by climate change? Is our existence threatened? Yes. There are something called tipping points. Just to understand it, tipping points are, as you know, we are at the tip of some things. If we can just move a bit, we may just fall, have a sharp fall, from where we may not come up. It's like jumping, from the tip of a 20-floor story building. There are parameters in the planets, there are signs or parameters in the planet, climate parameters, who have whose tipping points are nearing. And six of them we have already reached. One of them is the temperature. It means from there recovery is not possible. And there is no return back to normal. We have done that. We have already reached to that point. But just to give you a sense, the planet has gone through these phases of extinction, disruptive climate events like the one I mentioned, from where humans escaped and colonized the planet. The last one, actually, if you look at it, the dinosaurs' time, from that time, the planet became again the way we look at it now. All the trees, the plants, the species, birds, animals, and the humans, what you see it now, currently. It took 200 lakh years or 20 million years. And if the current extinction rate and what we have done to the nature, if you just stop doing it and the earth decides to regenerate it, it will be another 8 lakhs human generation would pass by before it comes back to the situation that we have seen 123 years ago. 8 lakh human generations. India's life expectancy is 64 years to 73 years, depending on which part of the country you are. So forget. That precisely shows at which stage we are. So now, another reminder. We are such a great species, humans, that we have devastated the planet, and now we have the pride to declare a new epoch or a new age in our name. As you all know, we started hardly 13,000 years ago from hunter-gatherer and food-gatherer and hunter-gatherer to we decided to settle down and started cultivation. And our society evolved out of that. We are living that phase. That also coincided with the climate change. We became warmer, suitable for human settlement, suitable for farming, suitable for everything. Ice were melting, ice age was gone, and we had a perfectly suitable climate for our living, and we prospered. The great agriculture started just 12,000 years ago. We are just living that. There is a new age coming, descending on this planet, and are going to call it the age of humans or Anthropocene. We want to name the new age after us. And why is that name after us? Because every time there is a new age in this planet has been named or been identified, there is some marker. Why you are giving actually the name or giving the humans to this new age or the age of humans? Because the impact of humans are unmissable on this planet. And what are scientists looking for? What are the actually marks which will define that humans had an impact on this planet so much that the new age can be defined as the age of humans? There are various uh, markers human influences impact. One is the nuclear dust or the nuclear weapons and the energy that we have created. That's human made completely. So dust are there everywhere. Second, plastics. And this is the theme of this year's Earth Day also. Planet versus plastics. Plastics is a human made monster. It's everywhere in your eyes, nose, in the womb, in your milk, in everywhere plastic. So it's a human marker, completely created by. So that's why you can name the new age after us human, because this is plastic is one of the things. There are many others, but I'll tell you and by showing you this one. This is our favorite broiler chicken. This is not a living actually. This is not your murga, as you know in the nature. This this murga or chicken was specially engineered, completely created by humans. It's actually living food we have created. It has no more any link with its ancestors. Chimpanzee and humans do, as I told you, that photograph 98.8% of DNA. This broiler chicken doesn't have any link with its ancestors or the jungly murga. Humans have created just for the food sake. So your broiler chickens are the most prominent human markers being used to tell that the new age of human age arrived. And I'm sorry, this is the story about the planet. I don't have anything to report back that, but you need to know the story of the planet in context of human existence also. We observe the human of the Earth Day. As I told you, this is a reminder for our sins, reminder for the insignificance, but the most devastating impact we had on this planet. And that's all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard, for this thought-provoking and such an important presentation. I think we all learned some very important information out of all that you have said. It was very fascinating to know all the big figures and numbers that we have just recalled. It's absolutely true that without numbers, we will never be able to track our impact on the earth that we have caused. We need to know how important it is that we have barely lived for a few seconds in the earth's lifespan and have caused such a devastating impact in barely 123 years with 540 months of a kind of climate where the temperatures have risen above normal. I'll now request all of you that whosoever has a question for Richard, please raise your hand and then and let me know and I'll come to you. So just use the reactions button and raise your hand and I'll be there. Okay, I can see Arna Sharma. Arna Sharma has a question.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir and ma'am. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir and ma'am. And my question is that what can we do at this stage of our lives for the environment?
I think, answer will be like a provisions, but remember, we know how we impacted the planets. Why all these impacts of humans on the planets is to do with our consumptions. So, what we can do, we can actually have to live a lifestyle that's less impactful for the planets so that the nature has the time to recover. Never be under the think that nature will just is going extinction because we have put that much of pressure that it's going for extinction now. So the way we live and how we live and where we can correct a sustainable living is what all about things. Our consumptions which have a big impact on the planets. For examples, the biggest impact we are having is the greenhouse gases emissions, which is a direct byproduct of our consumptions. You know, the petrol, diesels, the industrial fuel, and all these things we do. That we have to actually bring it down to a certain level where the warming can be maintained and these things. So that's the broader things. But in our day-to-day life also, that brings down to do that actually. For examples, what you consume has an impact. A non-processed food, a food basically which takes more energy to produce and make it suitable for your consumptions will be one big place where you can actually bring down your own personal emissions and can save the planet. Then, second, using your biodiversity consciously. Don't have a consumption pattern or a life that has a which abuses your biodiversity. You know, I gave you the examples of say for example, a particular kind of vegetable, say industrial, which is done in an industrial way, or particular kind of food in a done which is in an industrial way, that adds on to the emissions and also kills the biodiversity. So that's one. So these are the kind of things that actually we have to add up because the crisis currently you see is a direct byproduct of our consumptions being in existence in this planet. Other species are not having a lifestyle like us. That's why they are actually not having an impact on the health of the planet, but we are.
Thank you so much, Richard. And thank you so much for the question. Our next question is by Ishan Raman. Ishan, I can see your hand raised up. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where are you from, which class and all.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from class 10th B. I'm from JP International School. My name is Ishan Raman. My
Are you,
question, yes, ma'am.
are you in Delhi?
I'm in written order, I think.
Okay, wonderful. Go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. I have a question, sir. What do you comment on Dubai's situation right now? Is it also the part of blunders that is done by us?
Can you please repeat which situation?
Ma'am, Dubai is also having floods too much there. I'm talking about that. What's your comment on that? And it's also the part of the blunders done by us.
Thank you. I think very much. That's because that's an impact of the climate change. And as I explained you also, the climate change is caused by human emissions, greenhouse gas emissions. This is not something that natural has happened. The humans induced greenhouse gases emission is warming of the world, the planet, and the one impact of this global warming is change in the climate. And what you see in Dubai or in Kerala or in Bengaluru or anywhere, this extreme weather events. And in one slide, I told you that every second Indian citizen is experiencing a things. In fact, if you look at it, the whole of planet, all the continents have experienced extreme climate weather events, just like your Dubai flood, currently South China, then you have Afghanistan. All these floods are caused by that. And the current even heat wave in India that you are looking at it, the extreme heat wave is the part of the climate change impact. So this is precisely what you did 123 years. So that's why one tipping point also I said you that the planet has on the emissions and also on the temperature has nearly reached to the tipping point. Remember, temperature decides everything. You know, it's basic science. When it temperature goes up, air pressures, what happens? The air moves up. Then from the cooler area, you get the air filled in. And that precisely disrupt the whole planetary air systems. And what you see in there was a link between the Dubai storms and the humidity we got in Mumbai. It is that local and that widespread. So it is part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Ishan, for this question. Let's go to Nishad. Nishad has been raising his hand for a while. Nishad, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and which class you're in. Nishad, you will need to unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? We are not able to hear you. Okay, let me circle back to you in a while. Meanwhile, Ashmita Das, can you please introduce yourself and ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, my name is Archasmita, not Ashmita.
Yes. Yeah. So, Arjun,
Ma'am? Ma, I'm from West Bengal,
okay, which class?
and I study in 6th C.
Okay, wonderful.
So, ma'am, my question is that what is the meaning of breeding pair? And can you give me some examples from this?
Can you repeat?
Ma'am, what is the meaning of breeding pair and can you give me some examples?
Okay. Breeding pair in any species is a couple of male and female who will give birth to other members, just like our parents. Your parents, my parents were also a breeding pair who gave birth to 8 siblings. So breeding pair is basically who are going to breed a couple of male and female.
Nishad, are you back? Yeah. Okay. Do introduce yourself and then ask your question.
No, it's not.
Why don't you type your question? Okay. Meanwhile, Ansh Bhogle. Ansh, do you want to ask your question? Can you introduce yourself and then tell us what would you like us to tell you?
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Nice to meet you. Sir, my name is Ansh, and I study in school, Cambridge School, Srinivaspuri. My class is 7th D. So my question is, I have heard of the term global boiling. Sir, can you explain it to me?
Okay, Hans, you heard it right. It's actually global warming. And it is warmed so much that now you hear this term global boiling. Just imagine being inside a room and you sometimes you don't feel the temperature, but you
Yes,
start putting some fire inside it. Gradually, the temperature will go up, isn't it?
yes, sir.
So it will reach to a level where you will no more, or your body will no more be able to.
Survive.
Exactly. So this is what we have done to the whole planet. Planet has greenhouse gases which protect us actually. Otherwise, this planet without the greenhouse gases, because it gives you a protection around the planet, so it keeps certain temperature level balanced. Without that, the planet would have been frozen at minus 13 degree. But thanks to the greenhouse gases, which are the natural greenhouse gases, it gives you a livable temperature of around 13 degrees centigrade average. But what happens due to the human activities, we actually release more and more greenhouse gases which are not natural to the atmosphere. So as you know, greenhouse gases also cause warming, and that's why we are warm enough to survive here naturally. But now you are adding more and more greenhouse gases, means it's warming is also taking place more and more. Just like in that room where you are lighting a fire or increasing the temperature. So that's what's called the global warming. And if you actually refer to global boiling, why we are saying global boiling is basically we have crossed that global warming phase. Rather, we are saying that it's so unbearable. The temperature that we are almost like boiling, being inside a pressure cooker. Now imagine yourself inside a pressure cooker. What happens inside a pressure cooker? You have water or liquid and you put the lid and boil it. Forget about the room. So you have inside just a room, you have moisture और ह्यूमिडिटी. हवा में बहुत सारे मॉइस्चर है. तो क्या होता है कि जो आपका फीलिंग होता है ना टेम्परेचर वो बहुत ज्यादा होता है. बेसिकली आप आलू हो या टमाटो हो जो भी जो आप बॉईल करते हो प्रेशर कुकर में उसी में होता है. सो व्हाट यू आर कॉलिंग इज global boiling is basically क्या हो रहा है कि due to the climate change and warming, humidity has also increased in the air. So now you are being boiled. The temperature is rising, the humidity level is rising. So in your phone, if you see like there will be a temperature called feel like, which will be 2, 3, 4 degree higher than what the temperature of that area. And humidity is high. So you are now in that boiling situation. So just imagine you have been put inside a pressure cooker. So that's
Yes.
boiling.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Richard, Nishad has written this question to us. He is asking that we are aware that materials like plastic are not suitable for our Earth's safety. Therefore, we are set to opt for alternatives. But these alternatives are expensive and not up to the point. So, how can we conquer this? Further, plastic is also cheaper and offers, and there are less better quality alternatives available.
I think this is a debate that's for everything you have this debate. But remember, why plastic came, first of all? That's supposed to be the miracle material that humans invented. It was supposed to replace paper in many ways. And why we wanted to, the paper, we wanted to replace paper, we are chopping down forest. So that was environmentally not sustainable. So we got plastic. So plastic came as an alternative. But plastic is also a not degradable. So plastic comes without an expiry date. Now it has become a process of it's a huge crisis because we are not able to recycle it. Plastic is meant to be recycled. It's not meant to be discarded. You recycle it, you put it in a circular way so that you don't have to actually discard it. That's the basic principle behind use of plastic or any other biodegradable materials. Now, coming to the questions of alternative means it's cheaper. It's cheaper because it has a scale now. Paper was also cheaper. Isn't it? The plastic bag used to cost us more in the beginning. But I'm talking about the plastic has this invented it well, but it has to be recycled. It has to be kept in a permanent loop so that it doesn't go to the environment. Now, the second question is the chemicals used in the plastic itself. That has to be, that's also a big issue. Remember, one is the recycling the whole plastic itself. The amount of chemicals that you use to manufacture plastic is huge. What happens to the health impacts of the chemicals? Then the plastic that we use in food to store food or to carry food or anything, and how that disintegrate into microplastics and other chemicals being released. That's a health hazard. So we are currently the world is negotiating an end to plastic pollution. The treaty you will expect it in the next 2 3 years. But these are the issues. So it's well you stop it. That will be fantastic. And then we can spend the next generations cleaning it off.
We have a lot of hands raised up, but unfortunately, as we are already exceeding our time, we'll take only last three questions. Uh, so I'm noticing Neeru Kumari's hand raised up for quite some time. Neeru, can you please introduce yourself and ask your question? Tell us where are you from, which class you are in. Neeru Kumari, are you able to connect with us? I think Neeru is not able to hear us. Meanwhile, Adit Nambudri, Adit, can you introduce yourself and ask your question? Tell us where are you from, which class?
I think not audible.
Adit, your voice is not audible.
Tell
Can
them
you
what the
speak up?
questions.
Yeah.
Questions. Yeah. I have a doubt
Okay. Okay, so, ma'am, I have a doubt.
that I have answered.
All right, meanwhile, I'll go to Abhishek Show. Abhishek, are you there with us?
Hello everyone. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Hi,
Yeah.
Abhishek. Abhishek, please introduce yourself. Tell us where are you from,
Uh,
and then ask your question.
my name is Abhishek. I am from Jharkhand, pursuing graduation, currently in second semester. So yeah. So ma'am, my question to sir is, right now we are doing innovations and we are trying to set civilization colonies over different planets like Mars. So is this a indication that our Earth is or will at travel after some time due to our acts? And my second question with regard to this is, do you feel that the modern lifestyle with the pivotal innovations are harming the environment? For example, sir talked about dodo. So can sea turtle, blue whales are also at the stage of extinction because due to the fishing gears and ships, they are collision yet being protected. Then also they are being harmed due to this a lot. So this is my question. So what do you feel about this?
Sometimes, Vic, we put these questions to scientists, like other species, whether human species will extinct. Will it just extinct like other species in this changing climate and new planet that we have impacted upon? The answer was no. We have, I think, many adaptations qualities, the capacity to do that so that we can survive. I think the biggest one, just look at it. It's warming, it's hot everywhere, so you have put AC. We can do, but we can take it to the certain level. So the scientist reply was that as a species, I think we are not going to extinct per se.
Yeah. But sir, with some of my friends, I was been there in Biswaharti also for some time, Santiniketan. So with those friends, I had a talk. I asked them that what's the basic difference between humans and animals. They told that easily we are able to manipulate the technology, but animal can't. Therefore, they are being tortured by us. So, is this a correct statement according to you? Or
Yeah, I think you can take example of very biologically and species wise. If you look at it, cockroach.
yeah,
Cockroach has been there much before us. I think most of them are there, but cockroaches I think survived many extinctions,
hmm,
devastating impact planet.
yeah,
So I think humans might just do that.
yeah,
So I don't know what cockroaches did in their technological interventions, but they have survived.
hmm,
And turtles definitely, many turtle species actually preceded humans and have gone through the great dying, which basically happened in the oceans, the earlier last extinctions. Basically, the oceans warmed up, and it's called the great dying. So they survived. So we know our society, humans, we are what we call the technological interventions and all these things that's happening. So as a species, we might not extinct. But coming back to your earlier things, we are going to moons and Mars and all these things. These
yeah,
are, all these fascinations of a species
yeah,
demonstrate things. That's fine, but that's not going to be the future that where you will go en masse migration to Mars and moons to escape the climate change and the planet Earth. I think that's surely not the way.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We'll now take our last question for the day. Neeru Kumari has been waiting very patiently. Neeru, please tell us where are you from, which class do you study in, and then go ahead and ask your question. We have unmuted you. I think you can uh, unmute yourself now and speak.
So, hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
So, ma'am, my question, first of all, my introduction. My name is Nikhat Azad, and I'm from class 10th, JP International. And my question to sir is, how is climate changing over time, and to what extent are humans are impacting the change?
Okay, as I told you must have seen in that 120 year, 23 years. So
Yeah.
basically, the what you see the human impacts on the climate change is measured through the emissions of greenhouse gases. That precisely which we have called. So what we measure is the human-induced greenhouse gases emissions. And the scientific, I think the baseline is 1787, which is considered to be the beginning of the industrial age revolution.
Yeah.
Since then, we
Okay.
have been emitting artificial greenhouse gases due to our industries, due to our other things that carbon dioxides, methanes, and everything had started adding to the unnaturally to the uh, planet's atmosphere. So if you took that 123 to 24 years that our emission has started, and that's why it's quite devastating that it just took 123 years to alter the natural climate, and that's all about. And you might be old, hardly 15 years old,
Yes,
so
sir.
you have not experienced a normal climate.
So,
All
how can
the
we just save our nature with this, with all these greenhouse gases emissions and all?
sorry.
So, how can we just conserve our nature?
See, we have been look at it. Humans are also interesting. We humans are interesting. We devastated everything, and we are conserving this. Okay, we first killed all the tigers. Now we are conserving. So we changed the planets at the very end. Now we are negotiating how to actually bring down the emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. We are negotiating that so that at least we can reduce or stabilize the global warming to limit it to 1.5 degree more than the industrial revolutions, industrial phase. So that's precisely what we are doing to reduce our greenhouse gases. And as I told also at the beginning, I think individual also we need to look at our own carbon footprint, and to conserve is not just a Jew kind of things. that you take a species and start breeding and do that. Nobody will survive without the ecosystem or the whole planet being livable. So the point today was that the whole climate, the ecosystem, the planet's ecosystem itself is collapsing. That's why this heavy extinction. 10 lakh species going extinct in just a decade or by 2030. You cannot stop that now. But you know the reasons why it's happening. So you stop that regions, mitigate that regions. One of that region is also basically this greenhouse gases emissions, which causes the global warming. Then it changes the climate. When the climate changes, everything changes. You, me, everybody changes with that.
All right, thank you so much, Richard, for answering all our audience's questions. I feel that we all have learned a lot from this session today. Let me also inform all of you importantly that for all the participants who have made it to our session today, we have important participation certificates for all of you, which you will be able to download from tomorrow. It will be available from the same at the same download at the same link from where you have been able to register for us. More information will be sent to you via mail tomorrow itself. Further, I think we can now unmute all of you. You can say your thank yous and goodbyes to Richard. I think we all learned a lot from you, and thanks a lot for taking up your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye and see you in our next session. Meanwhile, don't forget to check out the Boba Times. It is available on our website. The current edition is on BioQ. Make sure you read it and like it and share it.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.